Riley Moon parked her Mini Cooper in the circular driveway and gaped at the house in front of her. She thought it looked as if it had been designed by the witch from Hansel and Gretel after she'd made a killing in the stock market. Its steeply pitched roof, multicolored shingles, odd turrets, and sprawling, ungainly porch made it both inviting and ominous. It was located at the end of a long private drive that wound through a heavily wooded section of Rock Creek Park. It was one of the biggest mansions in Washington, D.C., and it was appropriately called Misterioso Manor. Emerson Knight, the resident owner, was appropriately known as a nutcase. Knight had ignored requests that he visit the bank to discuss his recently inherited fortune and to choose a new personal banker, so the bank had dispatched Riley to assure Emerson that his money was in good hands. Riley maneuvered herself out of the Mini, straightened the hem of her fitted, cream-colored Acris jacket, and planted her 4-inch Valentino heels on the gravel driveway. It was her second week as a junior analyst at Blane-Grunwald, the megabank that made Goldman Sachs look like a mom-and-pop savings and loan. She'd taken the time to get degrees from Harvard Business and Harvard Law, and now, at age 28, she was finally ready to set the world on fire. She was going to make her family proud, pay off her gazillion student loans, and carve out a brilliant career. And she was moving closer to her goals on this perfect September morning. She was 2 steps from the massive porch when the front door to the mansion burst open and a frazzled woman stormed out, swept past Riley without a word, and headed down the driveway. A tall, rangy woman in her mid-60s stood on the porch and waved at the angry woman. "Danielle, give it one more chance." "No more chances," Danielle yelled back. "You're all wacko, and I'm not cleaning up after no damn armadillo." "At least let me give you a ride home," the tall woman pleaded. "I'd rather walk," Danielle said, stomping around the bend in the road, disappearing from sight. Riley thought that the tall woman looked like she'd just stepped out of the Dust Bowl. Her hair was mostly gray and piled on top of her head with a bunch of strands escaping. No makeup, beat-up running shoes, loose-fitting jeans, and an untucked though neatly ironed floral-patterned faded pink shirt. The woman sighed and turned to Riley. "Sorry you had to hear that, hon, but Danielle had a right to get her tail feathers ruffled." "Did she say something about an armadillo?" The tall woman looked at her with stoic resignation. "Yep." Riley extended her hand. "I'm Riley Moon from Blane-Grunwald Bank. I'm here to see Emerson Knight. He's expecting me." "I'm Emmy's Aunt Myra. Come on in. Nice to see a pretty girl stopping by, even if it is just business. And look at you with all that curly red hair and big brown eyes, and you got a nose that's cute as a button. I bet you work out, too." "I like to run when I get the chance. It clears my mind." "Well, I'm glad to see you here. Emmy doesn't have many visitors these days." Riley liked that this woman called Emerson Knight, one of the richest men in the country, plain old Emmy. Maybe the rumors she'd heard were untrue. Maybe he wasn't as aloof and eccentric as the press reported. Myra turned back to the door and gave a disgusted grunt. "The dang thing closed behind me," she said. She tried the handle. Locked. She entered a number into the keypad beside the door. Still locked. She tried another number. Nothing. "Shoot," she said. "This is supposed to be a smart house. Why isn't it smart enough to let me in?" Myra shifted in front of the camera that was part of the keypad, pushed a button, and said, "Hello, Emmy," a little too loud, like Riley's mother did when she talked on a cell phone. "I'm locked out again." A man's voice came over the intercom. "Aunt Myra, is that you?" The man sounded distracted, as if he had just been pulled away from finding a cure for cancer or a marathon binge-watching of Game of Thrones. "Yes," Aunt Myra answered. "Did you change the password?" "I might have." "What did you change it to?" Aunt Myra asked patiently. "I have no idea. Who's that with you?" Riley leaned into the camera. "It's Riley Moon, sir, from Blane-Grunwald. You were expecting me, Mr. Knight." I received a message that a bank representative would be visiting. I didn't respond. I assumed that indicated disinterest. "Let us in, Emmy," Aunt Myra said. "Open the door." There was a faint click. Myra tried the handle, and the door opened. Inside was all dark wood and high ceilings. A huge staircase with blood-red carpet rose up the center of the very formal foyer. The banister was mahogany. The elaborate chandelier and wall sconces were crystal. The side chairs, center hall table, and various chests and side tables were antique and reminded Riley of her Graham's Duncan Fife dining room set. When Graham passed on, the furniture went to Aunt Rose and Uncle Charlie, and it had looked very grand in the small dining room of their double-wide. "Just head up the stairs. Go down the hall to your right until you hear the weirdo music," Aunt Myra said to Riley. "That'll be the library. I have to go make lunch. You'll be all right. There's nobody here but Emerson and me." "It's a big house. No staff?" "No, they keep quitting." Riley climbed the stairs, and a dark little creature scuttled across the hall in front of her. The armadillo. Riley was from a small, wind-blown town in Texas, and she was more used to seeing armadillos as roadkill. This one was refreshingly unflattened by an 18-wheeler. It trotted along the carpeted hallway like some alien from another planet, its shell bobbing up and down as it moved. Okay, so it's a little odd, Riley thought, but it was adorable all the same.